I'm trying to think of the last time I went to see a movie in a theater. And I can't even remember. I can't even remember the last time I went to see a movie in a theater. I know whatever I saw, I left the theater not feeling very happy about what I saw, and I thought it was a total waste of money the last time I went. Geez, I can't even remember what it was I saw. And it was pretty long ago. It was before the pandemic I went to a movie theater. What about you? When was the last time you went to a movie theater to see a movie?
This is a show about jewelry, why we wear it, why it matters, how it's made, and what it means. I'm Alex D, and I turn cannabis into gold. I make mind-blowing jewelry in gold, silver, and platinum from cannabis plants here in Canada for stage, screen, for people who want to rock crazy jewelry. I'm the Cannabis Goldsmith.
I mean, the last few decades I was living in Toronto, and there were movie theaters all around Toronto. Fewer and fewer, though. Each year there would be fewer and fewer around. They used to be on almost every major city block in downtown Toronto at one time, theaters of various sizes for various things. But then movie theaters popped up, and there were these amazing movie theaters in Toronto, and I'm sure in your town too, wherever you were. Around North America, you would see these Art Deco kind of faces on some of these movie theaters, and they would be beautiful inside, and just like to watch a big movie. They were great. I remember going to see Terminator 2 with Arnold with my best friend Steve. We went to the Uptown in Toronto on Yonge Street, a beautiful theater that used to exist just south of Bloor on Yonge Street. I saw so many movies there. It was just great. It was a great experience. But no, nowadays, I mean, like I said, I can't think of the last movie I saw in a theater. I just remember the feeling that it wasn't the best movie, and I had forked out way too much money to see it, and I'd had to sit with a bunch of people who were on their phones in the theater. The whole experience of going to a movie had changed for me. But I think it's changed for everyone. And the reason I'm talking about movies today is where I live here in Ontario, I don't live in a big city anymore. I live in a kind of rural area. And for me to get to a theater is quite a deal. I remember when Dune came out this year, I think I might have even talked about it briefly. I'm a bit of a science fiction fan. I'm actually a huge science fiction fan. And I'm not a big Dune fan, but I just wanted to see this huge, big science fiction movie in a theater. And then I had to figure out how I would get to the theater. It would take a 20-minute drive to get to the closest theater, okay, to see this movie. The new Dune movie when it came out. And I'm doing all these calculations in my head. I would have to drive 20 minutes to get to the theater. Then I'd have to buy the ticket, watch the movie, and then drive back 20 minutes along our major highway, the 401 here in Ontario, just to see a movie. Now, it wasn't just walking down the street or hopping on a subway system and getting to a movie theater in Toronto. This involved extra work, right? So I really considered whether I should go see this Dune movie. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, as I said, of the Dune franchise, but I'm a big fan of science fiction. I don't even like Zendaya, which they had been flogging the shit out of for a year leading up to the release of this movie, and the other star, whoever he was. I'm not like drawn to them in any way, but the book, and I mean it's a heavy science fiction piece, right? And I wanted to see it in this theater, so I was evaluating all these things in my mind. Is it worth is it worth me driving all this way and spending all this money to see this Dune movie, or should I just wait till it comes out online and watch it on my screen at home or on my phone? Can you imagine? I mean, the director of this movie, the Canadian director of this movie, would probably slap me for saying, watch it on my phone. But look, if I have to drive 20 minutes to see a movie and then fork out 20, God knows how much money they cost now to see it, and it sucks, or I feel unfulfilled when I leave. See, this was my expectation going into the movie, even before I was, going to go see this movie. So did I go see the movie? No, of course not. It's just too much friction involved to go see the movie now for me. And this is just my thinking around it. Now, all the Hollywood people are saying, "Oh, I'm to blame for the demise of the industry," and in a way, yes, I am to blame. When I'm weighing the value of this, of whether the further and further the theater gets, the least likely it is I'm going to go see a movie at it. Now, I don't even know what the youth of today, the youth of even before me, like I'm an old guy, but before me, the youth, I guess the youth in the 50s and stuff used to go to a lot of movies, right? In the 60s, it's all the stuff they're trying to create in movies is this excitement of going to a movie theater, taking a date to a movie, watching the movie, making out in the back of the movie theater, all this stuff revolving around movies. I mean, you have to get to the theater first before any of that happens. And now I've just heard that they're going to close this big theater that I didn't go to see Dune. Now they're shutting it down because nobody's going anymore to movie theaters. And there's this huge giant building in Brockville, Ontario, that is empty, showing movies to nobody. So that's what Hollywood is now. Hollywood, they'll say, oh, Hollywood is more than that, but there's different versions of it. But the Hollywood we once knew, the movie Hollywood, is finished. It's finished. Unless you live in a city, and unless you want to go through the friction of actually going to a theater to see a movie. Now, I don't know how Hollywood is going to unwind or undo the damage. And I know I'm part of causing the damage because I don't go to movies anymore, and I haven't in a long time. And you know what? Even when I went to my last movies, the last movies I saw, this was before the pandemic, the theaters were empty. Like I was the only person. I think I saw a James Bond movie now. That was the last movie I saw in a theater, a James Bond movie. And it had just been released, and I was like the only person in the theater. I couldn't believe it, right? It was okay. But it wouldn't be worth driving 20 minutes and parking and all that just to go see that, right? Like, it doesn't have the value to me anymore. And I think this is what the problem that's afflicting the consumer base of Hollywood movies. Now, they had a strike and a pandemic, and it's just been totally smashed to pieces. The tech companies have moved in to suck all the money out of the middle and out of just to pick everything clean artistically from Hollywood and remix it and resell it as slop to the rest of us, as visual AI slop. That's coming. And AI actors, because they're not going to pay actors anymore because they can't afford to. They're just going to have they'll just have CGI or AI, just fake actors. It'll be like cartoons, but in a much higher quality, resembling actual film. So what is there to do about all this? I have no idea. I think I think movies as we knew them in theaters. I'm trying to think if I would ask a date to a movie now. No, because imagine how hard it would be to do. Like, I mean, just getting myself to the theater, that's now not there anymore. That's closing. But that's closed already, I think. But just to get me there, but imagine dealing with another person too. Like, yeah. Jesus. And that's it. And then I'm not even talking about the content here. I'm just talking about the distribution of the Hollywood movies. And it's not only me. I'm think, oh, you're only talking about yourself. But I'm just an example of the other people who live in this area of Ontario, of my province. It'll be like that in your state too. And if you're an American, you might have to drive to get to the movie theater. And now it's gone, right? What do? You end up watching it on your phone, the movie, or watching it on a television or on YouTube or something. You don't get that full experience anymore. And that's sad. That's a really sad thing. And there's nothing I think there's nothing that can be done about it. We have just hit the end of the movies as we once knew them. Just like the milkman. The milkman used to deliver milk every morning. I mean, I'm old enough to remember growing up in Montreal, and my mom used to get a bottle of milk. The milkman used to come by and drop off a glass bottle of milk at the front door every day or every second day or whatever she could afford to buy for her kid was dropped off by the milkman. And the milk in that glass jar was exceptionally good. Like, I remember it even now. It was not homogenized. The cream would rise to the top. There was this big, thick layer of cream on top, and the rest below it would be, I guess, equivalent to 5% milk or whatever they call it these days. But all the cream wouldn't have the cream in it, so it would be lighter to drink. But all the cream would be on top of this milk, and my mother would give it to me. This is the part she would let me eat out of the milk, right? She would pour it off and let me chug the cream part. That was her treat for me as a kid, that the milkman delivered. Now, these days, nobody would even know what a milkman is or what they did or the type of milk they delivered, how it was delivered, what they wore, the type of truck they drove. Not all that. I mean, you can find it if you look for it if you Google it. But, the result you might get might be AI generated and absolutely not at all what it was like. So the milkman and the movies, they're gone. They're gone now, right? Movie theaters. I'm sure in big cities you'll still have them because the population can support one movie theater in a town. It should be able to. But even, as I said, in Toronto, I mean, nobody was going to movies even before the pandemic, and fewer and fewer people were going. You'd get an opening night sellout crowd, but after that it would just be like empty. So you could get a seat at a movie, no trouble. And now there's no seats even left because the theater's gone. So there we are. Now, is this all bad? Is this bad? Or is this good? That's what I've been trying to think about. I think the milk, in the case of the milk, it's a sad loss for the milk drinking population that we don't have milkmen anymore. Because the milk seemed better, fresher. Well, it didn't seem so industrial. It was industrial, but not as much as today. And it seemed to be closer to the people who were drinking it than it is today. It's just like Hollywood. The milk was produced somewhere far away, and it came to you in a particular store that you had to go to get. That's what it's turned into. It doesn't come to you. You had to go get it and sit through the movie, watch it, and then leave and then figure out whether it was good or not. Whether you got your money's worth out of it or not. But, man, these big changes like this are so weird. I mean, a lot of times it happens so gradually you don't even know. You're going to be you'll be wondering what the hell happened to this, or where did all the diners go, or there'll be this massive realization that holy shit, like a whole swathe, a whole group of things are no longer in our society anymore because they just fell out of favor or got too boring or just vanished. I get sad about that, But I can imagine how sad the actors and the actresses and the directors are going to be. The actors didn't recover, or the writers or the Hollywood people who went on strike, the last strike, they didn't recover from that. And they won some things in their strike, but you know what? The whole industry, it just took the industry down another couple of pegs, and it's just the corporate wars over ownership of these companies is taking it down more pegs. And consumers have moved on, I think, to other things, other ways to consume media. They don't use the movies like they used to anymore. So what can be done, and what does this mean for artists? Well, I think it means a democratization of the technology of movie making. There won't be a single director like Steven Spielberg who's really famous. There'll be a million directors who are not famous, who are producing smaller bits of creative work, that short movies, short films, short documentaries. Maybe they'll make long 3-hour ones, who knows? But they'll be doing it themselves and releasing it themselves. And like social media, like it's this diffused, atomized kind of creativity that's spread out far too thin to have any real impact, I think, except to the bank accounts of the people who own the social media companies. But whatever. What can we do about it? Well, what we can do about it is use the new tools that are available to make our own movies, to make our own films, to create a diffused Hollywood. Most people, they say that your phone now has enough technology in it. You can shoot movies on your phone, and you can make movies literally on your phone. Now, are they Hollywood movies? No, they're not. But if you apply creativity, talent, you apply skill to videography with your phone, you can produce excellent content. I think this is where the movies are going to go. It'll just be people producing their own videos. They're doing it now for TikTok, for platforms, but that's a destination, right? People are producing videos for a platform destination. I'm making my videos for Instagram. I'm making my videos for TikTok. I'm making my videos for YouTube. Or they're doing a combination of all that stuff. I think if they're focused on one platform only, it's not going to be a movie. But if they focus on distribution to all kinds of other platforms, for example, if I create a short video on my phone and I distribute it simultaneously to all the platforms I'm signed up for, you're distributing your little movie. That's exactly what Hollywood is doing, except on a smaller scale and at a much, much lower cost. Yet the quality of the final output is going to be exactly the same, because it's not meant to be seen in a movie theater. And even the movies that are meant to be seen in movie theaters look the same on a phone as the person who shot the thing on the phone. So it's like the quality has to be reduced for it to be shown on small screens, right? So you're not getting an IMAX movie. You can't see an IMAX movie on a phone, no matter what you do, right? You're not going to get that full IMAX value out of a phone. But here we are. So that's chopped the top end off the movie industry in Hollywood and given it to everybody, basically, so we can all produce our own shows. Now, they're all going to be crappy. The whole the whole world is already filled with this kind of nonsense, right? A lot of it's just like nonsense, I think. But some of it is very creative, and some of it's very, very good. And some of it's movie making, I think, shot on a phone. Now, those of us who have slightly better gear, I mean, those of us who are photographers, who maybe are shooting with the current crop of DSLRs that can produce movies, can literally produce movies. I know a Nikon Z8 can produce film quality movies. I mean, the Nikon D850, kind of an older model camera, can record super high quality video, like incredible quality. This is what we've been using in the studio to photograph our products, to do product videos. But there's no reason why such cameras can't be used to create Hollywood-like productions on a micro scale. I mean, just to notch up the quality of what you would get out of a phone, for example. Like you can invest a little bit more and produce better quality video productions by yourself. So this is where the new Hollywood is. It's at home. We're making our own Hollywood right now. Sorry, film stars. I mean, all the Marvel movies, I think I saw one Marvel movie or two, and I've not been back to see it anymore. I've lost track of all of them. But with the costumes, you see, they can replace those. You know, different actors can just swap them in and out of costumes, so they don't have to worry. And eventually it'll be like AI will be generating the Marvel characters, so they won't need to pay actors. But I mean, we as home-based or small business-based movie creators, let's call us cinematographers. Let's say that's what we're trying to achieve with our video creation at home. We're trying to achieve super high quality. We're trying to achieve a nice look. Maybe we want it to look like a movie, like a cinematography, like a nice, rich kind of light and all that shit. You can do that now. It's possible. Even with phones, it's possible to do that. And now with more AI products coming in, people will be using AI to help them produce microfilms and micro documentaries, and like the next stage of home-based movie production. I think that's what we're in for now that the theaters are going on. They're leaving us, like the milkman and like the bottled milk with the cream on top. So that's what we have to deal with. So what I'm doing, I'll tell you what I'm doing to deal with it. I've upgraded our system here to shoot video and to edit video. So I'll be able to produce cinema grade video documentaries right here. Now, I'm still learning how to do the actual technical aspects of that, but it'll involve some learning like it will for you. You'll have to maybe buy a book or watch YouTube videos on how to color grade video and do all this stuff that it's might sound daunting at first, but you can figure it out. Watch some YouTube videos, listen to some people talking about how they color correct video for cinematography, and you'll end up learning. And then when you do the work and capture some video and edit it and put it together into a little mini movie, you are the new Hollywood director. Now, where's all this going to get distribution? I guess on social media for now, until something else is invented. But I'm looking at Spotify. Now they just deal with audio, but you know what? I think there may be, there's an opening there for them to take a video piece away from YouTube if they're careful and creative about it. But there might be room for another company that can just address the micro cinematography needs of our new Hollywood all around us. All the people shooting videos on their phones and in cameras and stuff and will be producing movies. Granted, there'll be 1 or 2 big movies a year that'll always come out, I think. But that everyone will see or talk about. I think as a culture, as a society, we need these common sociological points that we need to reference and to hold us together as a society. So we need to, oh, yeah, I haven't seen Dune. Have you seen Dune? Oh, it was really good. No, it sucked. Whatever. It gives us something to talk about, a common thing to talk about that we aren't fighting over, like physically. We can fight. We can fight about our impressions about the movie. It sucked or it didn't suck. And that's the end of it. There's no lasting malaise or no lasting anger over that. So we need the 1 or 2 big movies, but the rest of it's all going to move into the home, and we're going to be making our own movies. And here at Tribe, I'm going to be making a documentary, I think, eventually, about the early part of the photography I was doing for Tribe magazine as a younger person, like 30 years ago or whatever. I'm seriously considering making a documentary because I have the tools to do it, and I just don't know how. So I'm learning, and I'm trying to learn about documentary filmmaking. I've done a couple of master classes, one with David Lynch. I've learned a lot about documentary filmmaking, but you have to learn by doing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll end up making a documentary film. People will end up making documentary films about all kinds of things on their own and then releasing them out into the world on their own for distribution. Now, as I said, there are openings here for non-Google companies to help with this if they can. There might be new business opportunities for ways to share video. But anyway, that's the story of the movie theater here in Brockville, Ontario. It's closing, and not only me, but everyone else will have no theater to go to. Now, not that I went, but it's nice to have that option. But it's not enough just to have an option. It needs to be utilized in order for the business to stay open. I understand that very, very clearly. It's sad, but that's where we are with the Hollywood movie thing. If you think I'm a little down about it, you can just imagine all those actors who struggled working at fucking restaurants to hopefully get a starring role in a movie, become famous or get discovered. Oh, that whole industry is gone. It's finished. It's gone. And the people working as the waitress now have to decide if the one role they get that pays 1/10 of what it used to is enough for them to be living in Hollywood working as a waitress in order to get a waiter in order to work in the industry. It's not a happy place there now, I don't think. And you can see all the big media companies fighting over scraps, right? The Paramounts and all these companies, they're all going at each other for scraps of this, right? Of this declining pie. Wow. That was a depressing show today, wasn't it? But it's not all bad. As I said, there are tools available now. What used to cost a film director in Hollywood hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s in gear, you have in your pocket. You have a phone that you can enhance. You can do so much creativity with it in video. And if you invest a little bit more money, you can do a little bit more if you want to even go there, right? Or you can rent gear and do stuff. But remember that it's probably not going to be shown in a big movie theater. That's it for me this week. I've got a monitor arriving today. I'm so excited that I get to plug into a new computer and see how it handles the color. I've I'm ready. I've got the gear ready to do still photography, color correction, and also video. I'm going to be learning about video. I've bought a couple of books on color correcting video using DaVinci Resolve, which is kind of a video creation tool. It's like Adobe Premiere, except it's by a different company. So I'm learning a bit about that. And I already sort of know Photoshop. It's similar, but different. So I'm learning. It's just a learning process. So anyway, as an artist, you got to do all that too in order to make your art. So I'm going to be using the video to create a documentary about the past, the history of Tribe, the company, but also to improve the quality of the video of the products that we photograph, our products that we sell. So the image quality will be better and the video quality will be better as I learn more about this, I think. Always get better. Always learn. Always try and improve. That's what I think. Anyway, that's it for me this week. The monitor is coming today, hopefully. And and maybe I'll get a good breakfast at the diner before any of that happens. The Cannabis Goldsmith is produced by Tribe Communications, Inc. in the Thousand Islands area of Ontario, Canada. You can see what we do at tribe.ca. Send us an email, alexd@cannabisgoldsmith.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Cannabis Goldsmith.